What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of THKD TV. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of album anniversaries. The first one is Danzig's self-titled debut album. This came out on August 30th, 1988. It's now 30 years old. I myself was only 8 years old at the time this came out, so I can't say that I got in on the ground floor of Danzig. In fact, I was actually introduced by this album indirectly from a whole different CD, and that CD was the Thrall Demon Sweat Live EP, which came out, I believe, in 1993, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1993. It spawned the video for Mother, the live video, which actually, if you listen to it, is the studio version with some crowd noises mixed in. The version of Mother that's actually on this CD is a live version, and it's a lot more raw than the one you hear in the video that was played on Headbangers Ball and on MTV. I think it was a buzz clip. Some CD versions of this have both the actual live version and the Mother 93 version on it. Mine does not, but I know some of them out there do have both versions. Anyway, I bought this first, and then as a result, I went back and bought the self-titled. This has a ton of classic songs on it. You've got Twist of Cain, She Rides, which that has an amazing video if you're into 80s strippers. I highly recommend you check that one out, because wow. It's got Am I Demon on it, Possession, all like so many classic Danzig tracks on this one, and it's their first one, so pretty amazing to have so many classics on one album. Usually it's, one or two classics. This one's got like 5. But this album, or this EP and this album, started a lifelong love affair with Danzig. When I was 13 years old, I went back, and because of these, bought everything, bought all the Danzig albums. I went back and checked out the Misfits and Sam Haines. So this was these two releases here were the start of an obsession, but it's this one we're celebrating today. Again, it turned 30 years old over the weekend, and it still holds up today. It's just a great blues-based hard rock, very dark, and with some gothic elements to it. I mean, hopefully you've all heard Danzig, or at least heard Mother. It's been a staple of hard rock radio for ever since 1993 at this point, so hopefully you've heard it by now. But Danzig self-titled, we salute you. I'm excited that I have tickets to see Danzig in October. That's only been my second time seeing him, or actually third if you count seeing Sam Hain. But this is a great album. If for any reason you haven't heard it, which would be really unusual to not have heard it at this point, definitely check out Danzig self-titled. Turned 30 on August 30th, so Danzig self-titled, happy birthday. The second album that turned 30 over the weekend is probably a little less popular with most metal fans, and that album is Celtic Frost, Cold Lake. This album, old-timey metalheads will tell you this album was a betrayal, because Celtic Frost went from being a sort of thrash, proto-black metal, what have you band, into being a hair metal band with this album. And if you look at the back, you can see they definitely went all out in transforming into a hair band. If you look at Tom Warrior, I think that's the closest that man has ever gotten to smiling. Kurt Victor Bryant, why in the actual fuck is your fly unzipped? Is he getting ready to whip out his dong? I have no idea, but this photo has always been very disturbing to me. But the thing about this album is it's not as bad as what people would have you believe. I mean, I understand it's revisionist history, but here's the thing. Again, I was 8 years old when this came out, so I don't have any loyalty to old Celtic Frost. I love old Celtic Frost, but I don't have like this insane loyalty to it as people would that were in on the ground floor. So I can appreciate this album for what it is. And what it is, it is a hair metal album, I guess, but it's hair metal filtered through the twisted mind of Tom Warrior, and what comes out is this sort of weird mutant crazy version of hair metal. It's not Poison, it's not Motley Crue. It's this weird, it's like tarted up Celtic Frost, you know, or Celtic Frost, however you want to pronounce it. It's not like any other hair metal album you're ever going to hear. It's very dark and very weird. It's still got the Celtic Frost vibes, but yeah, it's not your standard hair metal, although some of these songs definitely, I mean, if you look, I mean, come on, Cherry Orchard, Seduce Me Tonight, Dance Sleazy, definitely hair metal cliches there, if you will, but if you listen to the actual music itself, the Tom G guitar tone is still there, and it's just, it's really weird. It's definitely worth checking out. I got my copy for like $5.99 used, and I listen to it all the time. I don't have, like I said, I don't see it as a betrayal. I see it as just another weird Celtic Frost album, and most of their albums are pretty weird if you listen to them. So, and again, this band photo is just terrifying. So it's got that going for it as well. So Celtic Frost, Cold Lake, we salute you. Again, this album turned 30 over the weekend. It was released on September 1st, 1988. So if you've never heard, and it's possible that you have never heard this actually, I think it's probably out there on YouTube to listen to, but Tom Warrior has really gotten out of his way to make sure this never got re-released, and you know, it's unfortunate because I think it does deserve a reissue because it's just so bizarre. It's such an interesting anomaly in the history of extreme metal that it deserves to be out there and to be heard, but Tom Warrior would have you believe otherwise. So if you can track down a copy, definitely do it. You won't be disappointed in how bizarre this album is. But again, Celtic Frost, Cold Lake, Danzig, self-titled. Happy birthday.